There's no way. I mean, maybe they were playing a swarm deck, a wide deck, but we can watch we can watch this beauty in action. It destroys only one of our cards. It destroys their entire board. Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with another Marvel Snap video. So it is that time again. It is time for our daily reset. So what we did was we completed all the missions we could. We unlocked as much content as we could, except for the mystery cards. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the mystery card of the day. We have 2 today. So we're going to pull those. We're going to build a deck out of at least one of them, and hopefully we pull something really cool. Early I was really dreading pulling Wasp Hornet, which are 2 zero-cost cards. I think I have an idea if we do pull that, but let's hope for something a little bit cooler. So the first one coming in, we have Killmonger, which is to me it is kind of in the same realm as like an armor or an enchantress. It is a counter. So what we can do is we can not run any 1-cost cards, and I think this would be good in a variety of decks. So if Muir Island was still a primary location, I think this would be really good at clearing out that spot once they buffed them up to some ridiculous level. It would also clear out like sunspots and things like that. So not a bad card, but I don't think it is a meta definer or a deck definer. So I think you can tech it in to really any other lower swing deck to utilize it well. Okay, and so now we'll pull the second card. Let's hope for something really, really cool that we can build a deck around and not just tech into a deck. So let's pull it. Let's see what we have. Omega Red. So if you're ahead 10 power here, plus 4 power to other locations. So another card that I don't think is necessarily a deck definer. So let me think on Omega Red for a second and see if we can think of any like cool uses. If not, we may just tech into Killmonger, into just some other like a Jubilee deck or like a control deck to see what we can make happen with it. Hey, so it's me again. I am back. So I actually created an Omega Red deck, and with Omega Red's condition, you have to win. So you have to be winning to win more. So to proc it, you have to be winning a lane by 10, which is a lot. So I built a deck that was really highly focused on like really large, high-cost minions, and it was bad. It didn't perform very well. I'm going to delete that deck. It was brute strength. It's gone. So what I am gonna do may be, so I feel kind of bad. So Devil Dino is a really overpowered archetype right now, and a lot of those cards are on the chopping block. But since I can't make a good Killmonger deck or a consistent Killmonger deck, what I'm wanting to do is make a collector deck with Killmonger in as our initiation condition. So we no longer will need to draw Carnage to destroy our Nova. So what that means is we can drop it into a nearly full lane and really kind of throw the opponent off. We no longer have to hold it until the very, very end, because they'll probably breathe easy knowing that the Nova is in a lane that we can't Carnage, we can't Venom, we can't Deathlock. So is that how we play it? So looking at a collector deck, we definitely want Devil Dinosaur. We definitely want Moon Girl. We want the kind of the staples of duplicating cards. We also want Cable. We also want Sentinel. Those are just like the really straightforward, like really, they make sense. You want to be able to buff up your collector, and those cards all do that. We still need to add Moon Girl. And this deck is really, really overpowered. So teching in one card is not going to make a huge amount of difference. But I think the fact that we have a kill condition that will be able to trigger it anywhere, as well as having the upside of destroying the opponent's lane, I think that's going to be really, really big. So other than Agent 13 to generate a card, we don't want any other 1-drops here. We don't need Electra because we're going to be able to blow up all 1-cost cards. So what other 2-drop cards do we have? If we had Quinjet would be amazing here, but we don't. So what do we think? Mojo's not going to be good because that ability is ongoing. If both players have 4 cards at this location, you get plus 6 power. So not a good condition, especially knowing that we're going to potentially blow up cards. Another staple for most Devil Dino collector decks is Bucky Barnes. And since we're not running a Carnage, is there a reason to run a Bucky Barnes? If not just to fill up space. So we're wanting something that is all about consistency and locking down lanes, as well as generating additional cards in our hand. So I was thinking we do a normal collector deck, but now I'm thinking maybe we do a hybrid. So we don't have all of the cards we need to just exclusively run Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative being a card that I pulled like second in pull 3, but I just haven't had the cards to really make it work. It has a really, really cool ability in that on reveal it swaps the power and cost of all cards in your deck. So what that means is if we run an Iron Man, who normally costs 5, he now costs 0, has 5 power, and still has his ability. So he can be really powerful if you're able to drop him, but you usually want to ramp up to that point so that you can drop him and get a good upside. So you can get more turns out of him, or you get more turns out of him, or you drop something like Crystal to recycle your hand and then draw additional cards. Both of those would be really good, but we don't have those quite yet. So what I'm thinking is we drop like a Jubilee, definitely an Iron Man. It's a huge card. And then do we do a Taskmaster? Because with Taskmaster, what Taskmaster does is on reveal, set this card's power equal to the power of the last card you played. So let's say that we drew Taskmaster after dropping our Mr. Negative. He is 0 and 5 power, which the power on him won't necessarily matter. If we drop a Devil Dinosaur and he's at 12 power, Taskmaster is going to copy that power, and then he will be 12 power as well. And he won't have the impact of, if I play cards, losing that power. So I think that's really good. And then what else do we throw in there? So there's a lot of good potential cards. So we could draw like a Hobgoblin, being an 8 and an 8 -8. Oh. So does he become a free 5-cost card? No, we don't want that. We would send him into the lane being a 5 power card. Ooh, we definitely want to stay away from Hobgoblin. So there are a couple of cards like Ironheart that would become even stronger. So Wolfsbane would be 1, it'd be 1 and 3 if we think we're going to be filling up our lanes, which we might. And then we have Ironheart, which becomes 3 power, and it's going to give +6 across the lane. This one is going to give +6 into our lane if we drop him late. So I think we do drop that. Is there anything that we would want more? So Adam Warlock being a card that will draw additional cards, but with Moon Girl, with us wanting to duplicate some of our cards, Moon Girl is not a good choice. Oh my gosh, we almost didn't add in the whole reason we're building this deck. And that being Killmonger. Where is Killmonger? There you are. All right. So now we have Killmonger in there. Is this deck it? Is this how we... Let's do one last pass through and look at each card. So Agent 13, What we want is for, if we play Mr. Negative, that none of our cards really have that much downside because of it. So like Moon Girl, Killmonger, those are still going to be 3 power cards. We're not going to necessarily lose anything, we just don't gain the upside from Mr. Negative. So Nova being one that we would lose from, Collector, which if we draw Collector that late in the game, so turn 5, turn 6, we're not going to be playing the Collector. Cable stays the same. Sentinel loses a little bit, at least for the first one that you drop. The rest are enhanced. So I think that I think we are going to run it as is. So let's quickly sort by power and let's look. So for our 0 cost cards, we have Devil Dinosaur. If we had a Mystique, would just be amazing in this deck, because that Mystique is going to copy any ongoing abilities. So let's say it's an Iron Man, that becomes another 0 cost Iron Man. Just insane potential of upside. So if we draw a Mystique at some point, we will probably see another iteration of this deck. Then we have Ironheart, which is 0 and 3. I think these other early game cards are going to benefit us more than an Ironheart, because if we the earliest we're going to drop Ironheart is turn probably 3, turn 4. So by that point, we could play our Mr. Negative. It's not really going to be beneficial to the collector side of our deck. Of course, we could put in some of these 1 cost. We have Jubilee. A card that I think would be kind of decent would be White Tiger, in that it becomes a 1 cost, but it's a 5 power card that also generates a 7 power token. But I just don't see taking away from the collector Devil Dinosaur side of this deck to squeeze him in. And I don't think... So is Taskmaster too niche here? So Taskmaster potentially... So let's say we draw our Devil Dinosaur and our Iron Man and our Taskmaster. We're not going to be able to drop all of them, but we could drop a Taskmaster on turn 5, followed right after a Devil Dinosaur. Okay, so I couldn't think of a cool name for it, but I think we locked this deck in. So looking at it, it is kind of a hybrid. Typically when you run a collector deck, you want a lot of initiators. So you want a lot of like destroy initiators in that so that you can destroy your Nova. In this one, I don't think that is our biggest win condition. It's a bonus for sure, but I don't think that is our only win condition. If we draw into Nova and not Killmonger at any point, I think it's okay. And we don't have to worry about keeping a lane clean for Killmonger to destroy Nova. So we can throw Nova wherever, even with some high power cards. So like drop it behind a Devil Dinosaur. Why would they armor that? There's no reason a normal deck would drop a Carnage into that lane. So I think we'll be able to catch some people off guard. That is our deck. I'm gonna throw up the graphics really quickly, and then we'll jump into some games. So I'm almost glad that our Omega Red deck didn't work out. And I did want to note that we started at 108 with 6 cubes, because I think this deck is going to be really, really strong. Okay, so there is a turn 7 this game, which is perfect for us. So there's a turn 7, and we have Mr. Negative in our hand. The only downside we have right now is that we already drew into Iron Man. So it's not great. You want to have these cards in your deck to be inversed once you drop Mr. Negative. So we really hope that we draw like into our collector, our Nova, something like that, so that we can get more upside from dropping Mr. Negative. And then additionally, having a decently sized collector can change how they're going to play. So that is not good. So it maxes out his lane, but he has a Nightcrawler. We draw into our Taskmaster. The only thing we don't have at this point is Jubilee that gets an upside from Mr. Negative. So our Killmonger may come in pretty large here. So I think what we want to do is we want to drop... Do we want to wait and drop a larger unit? Because this one, it's an ongoing ability. And whenever we destroy all of their cards here, they could have moved a Nightcrawler out. And so we'll probably drop that on the last turn. I think I just drop him in Xandar. And then we wait, and we drop something a little bit more powerful here. And so they have a Cosmo, but they've dropped the Cosmo. So do I think I do. I think we still do kind of this path. So I think we drop Devil Dinosaur. Next turn, I will drop Taskmaster, which is going to copy the Devil Dinosaur's stat line. And so it will be 10, because we're going to be 12, but we're going to play one card, which will drop it down. So we know that we've won this lane, because it's going to be a surprise Killmonger. They are not going to know. They're not going to know that it happened. So we can't play it here because of the Cosmo. I really like that they added that animation, because I forget. I would have probably played it in Xandar. So we're going to play Taskmaster on the right lane. That will give us the lead here. We're going to be able to drop Killmonger and then like an Angel next turn. Just something to use the additional mana. But that is going to win us this lane. And I think they're going to drop a big resource by moving Nightcrawler. Shang-Chi, no way did that happen. Okay, so, but that gives us information. So we know that they will have 3 power once that's done. So we don't have anything that will be above 3 power. We just have enough to tie it or to push it. So we can push this lane. As long as we win one of the other ones by a pretty large margin, I think we're okay. I think we play this here, because if they drop a card here and they swing this lane, it's okay. We get a little bit stronger as well with the Punisher. So as long as we're going to tie in this lane. As long as we are stronger than they are, we win by a larger amount in one of the other 2 lanes. I think, do I have time to snap? No, I don't. Because I do feel confident in this. I think we have a pretty good shot here. Oh, and I forgot about all of the other locations where it destroys the 1-cost card. That is phenomenal. They have a claw coming in, but it's not going to be enough to swing that lane by a large enough margin. So we win ours by 3, theirs by 1. That is beautiful. Had the Nightcrawler not been blown up here, it would have been a draw all the way across the board. They would have won this one by 3. We would have won this one by 3. It would have pushed. That's beautiful. So I really like this deck. I like that we don't have to rely on just winning with Mr. Negative. So if we don't win with Mr. Negative, it's okay. Ooh, that's okay. That's interesting. They have a Deadpool, which I haven't seen used much. I haven't seen it used like in an actual constructed deck at all. But what that does for us is Deadpool is a 1-cost card whose effect is when this is destroyed, return it to your hand with double the power. So I think they're going to have a destruction deck. I think they're probably going to have a Moon Girl to try and duplicate Deadpool at some point. And then, oh no, why did we drop Sentinel? We're not going to be able to draw. So what we need to do is be able to draw into our Killmonger. And even if we had drawn Cable, actually, we would have drawn an additional card. So it's okay. We didn't mess up that much. But they're going to want to duplicate Deadpool, have like, oh my gosh, this is going to be game-changing. They're going to want to buff Deadpool up to like 15, 20, and have 2 of them. Have 2 to be able to play. We're going to be able to... Oh, I sure hope we draw into it. We have our Taskmaster, we have our Jubilee, we have our Iron Man. There's no reason for us to drop our Mr. Negative, and I'm not going to drop Jubilee because I don't want to accidentally draw into Killmonger early. But we also have 7 cards. So we need to get rid of a card. Each one of these is going to generate a card in return, except for Jubilee, but we could accidentally draw into, or we could accidentally pull Killmonger and play it then, which is going to help them out at that point. What we want to do is play it at a point where they can't replay Deadpool. So turn 6, we are planning on playing Killmonger. So they have the hood, they have Killmonger. Interesting. So it's a good initiation for destroying those lower impact cards. But so that 5 power Deadpool now becomes 10. They're going to want to duplicate that, I assume. So let's go ahead. We will drop our collector. At this point, we can go ahead and draw with Cable. And we still have 1 space. We can do all of these things, and we're still going to have 6 space in our hand. So we'll be able to generate a few cards. That way we're still having an impactful Devil Dinosaur, but we can clear our hand for a space to draw to get Killmonger. And I think we can almost guarantee that we get Jubilee. It'll be between 1 and 2 cards, or not Jubilee, Killmonger. So it'll be between 1 and 2 cards, and we have Initiation, which we do not want here, now that I'm thinking about it. Because if we have Initiation and they drop the Deadpool on the last turn, then, okay, so they're not going to. They can't. So if they destroy it, they wouldn't be able to resummon it here. So in our deck, we have 2 cards. We drew into our Nova. So we have Killmonger and what else? Killmonger and Moon Girl. So we have a 50-50 shot at this. So I think what we do, we drop our Nova over here. We drop, and then we just drop our Jubilee. So that became a 2 cost. Okay, so that was not a good upside. So I think that's how we play it. Right now they don't have a great board. I'm going to snap, see if we can convince him to leave. I think we have a 50-50 coin flip here. If we draw Killmonger, that is going to trigger Nova, which is going to increase all of our stats across the board. And I guess if they have an Arium Zola, if they have a Zola, which is a 6 cost 0 power card that will destroy a minion and duplicate it across, I don't know that would be enough. I think we just let it play out and see how it goes. So they did only drop 1, so that could be an Arnim Zola. Come on, Killmonger. Coin flip Moon Girl. Darn it. That is unfortunate. Definitely not the card we wanted. The only card we have left. And so, yeah, the only card we have left being Killmonger. And it is an Arnim Zola. So we did read that line right, but it's going to be 10 and 10, which turns them 1 lane, but not 2. So the coin flip did not go in our favor, but the Moon Girl was able to duplicate enough that we were able to hold out that lane. So not how we wanted to win it, but this deck feels really good actually. So it has a lot of paths to that winning condition, which is what I like in a deck. This is definitely not a common deck. I've never seen anything even close to this being played, but this feels really strong. It may be early to make that call, but this feels really strong. Okay, so this looks promising actually. We have in our hand, we have Agent 13, we have Nova, we also have Mr. Negative, and we don't have any of the cards that we don't want in our hand. So we don't have Iron Man, we don't have Taskmaster, we don't have Devil Dinosaur. So that's, oh my, I can't make up my mind. I'm gonna mess around and not even be able to play turn 1. So we have some of those really, so it's a discard deck. They have Hell Cow. The question becomes, did we get a collector from Agent 13? What are the odds? This game, it wants me to win with this deck. It wants this deck to succeed. So with a discard deck, you have to think about, is it an Apocalypse? Is it a Morbius, which Morbius is a 0 power, but it gets 2 additional power every single time a card is discarded? If it's Apocalypse and they're trying to discard a lot of cards that way, or is it a Hela, which is a 6 cost, resummons all... I didn't end turn again. Resummons all cards that have been discarded this game. Or maybe it's even one that is trying to duplicate Storm. So Okoi makes me think that they're maybe trying to Swarm, that they're trying to buff up Swarm, which when that card is discarded becomes a 0 cost version of that card. So if it is an 8 power, it becomes 0 cost 8 powers across the board. And so I think that may be what they're wanting to do. I think I go ahead and play my Nova. I don't want to Moon Girl the Nova because I want to draw... I want to potentially be able to Moon Girl like an Iron Man that costs 0, or a Taskmaster that costs 0, or even a Devil Dinosaur that costs 0. So I think most of the time you would want to duplicate your Nova. I don't think in this scenario we do. So being that at the end of turn 5, all cards here get +2 power, I think I'm going to drop Mr. Negative there, because even if not, we can, even if we don't want to leave him there on turn 6, we can move him around. So I think it only makes sense to max out this location now, and so then it is an Apocalypse deck. So if they have like a Dracula, which is a pool 3 card that I haven't gotten yet, Dracula at the end of the game will discard a card from their hand, and then it will gain that power. So, oh, that's beautiful. We got a Devil Dinosaur. I think we drop our second... I don't know. We would need to Moon Girl this turn. So I think we do this, right? That's going to buff up both of our collectors. It's going to duplicate our Devil Dinosaur, and we'll still be able to draw into a card next turn. I think this is the play. And then they only have one cost, so I may not even bother with destroying Nova in this scenario. What am I doing? We should have dropped one of these 2 cards here so that it gets the Stark Tower buff, which is okay. We didn't think about it. It's not that game changing. So what do we draw? So we have a Devil Dinosaur. We could draw into an Iron Man, which would be really, really big. We draw into Cable, which is so-so, but in our deck we have 2 cards left. We have Iron Man and we have Taskmaster. So I drop a Devil Dinosaur there, and we drop a Devil Dinosaur here. Do we ever risk... Oh, we need our Devil Dinosaurs to be big. What am I doing? So I think we do that. Do we try for an Iron Man? Potentially? Or do we just let these 2 cards do their thing? And if that's the case, we draw this one over. So dropping a Devil Dinosaur, they're going to be +8 each. So they're going to be 11 power. We need to swing this lane. I don't think we do it with Moon Girl. I think... Oh, no. How do we... Oh, no, I'm going to run out of time. I'm choking. Okay. We just got it off in time. So I wanted to stack both our... Oh, no. We read that so wrong, but we might still win. I wanted to stack both our Devil Dinosaurs because I thought they were going to drop the big unit there. They didn't. But that is okay because they don't have anything in the left lane. So we end up winning 2 when we really should not have. Okay. So we do have our Iron Man, which we don't necessarily want to have drawn early, but it's okay. It's not our only win condition. I think that's what I like about this deck so much. We do have a Mr. Negative, though. In our deck still, we have Jubilee and Taskmaster. I would like to have both of those in the deck still whenever Mr. Negative comes down. I think for now, I start stacking cards in Kiln, because that's going to lock off after turn 4. After that, we start playing some cards into Mojo World, but I think it's going to be worthwhile. So they have a Sentinel as well. So I think it's going to be worthwhile to drop Devil Dinosaur into Kiln, just to kind of lock that down a little bit further. And that drop into Mojo World is huge. So what we can do is Killmonger on turn 6, and that is going to give us a 100-point swing here. So if we end up pushing a lane, then it's okay, because that Killmonger will be able to... No, it kills ours too. Never mind. It's an even swing. Unless they drop a 1 cost there, we're not going to get any upside from it. So they drop a... What do they drop in this lane? A Sentinel. Interesting. Have they not drawn into Devil Dinosaur? They haven't played anything besides Sentinel yet. So in our deck, all we have left... I said, I hope we don't draw Taskmaster and Jubilee. And we did. So all we have left at this point in our deck is... So we have 5 cards. So we have Moon Girl, we have Cable, Nova, Agent 13. So anything besides Moon Girl would be okay. I think we just drop Moon Girl, or Jubilee. We have a Collector as well. Or do we go with Mr. Negative because he at least gives us 4 stats? No, let's play him in Mojo World. And if they have a Shang-Chi for that left lane, that would be nasty. No, they have a Jubilee, okay. So what do they end up pulling? A Chavez, which wins them the lane for now. But we would have to... And we have a second 3 cost. So we're going to have at least 6 cards to swing that left location. 6 cards in hand to swing the left location. We ended up pulling a Shang-Chi from Agent 13, which is pretty nice. What do we drop here? Do we start competing for this right lane? Or do we Killmonger and then drop our Cable? So we Killmonger, that's going to destroy 2 of the cards here. So we would have to play 2 cards on turn 6, which we can do with the Shang-Chi, the Sentinel, but it really forces us into that play line. I think we do it. I think we do it and we snap just to scare him a bit. Okay. So not the best case scenario for this deck, but it wasn't the worst either. Okay, so we have Agent 13. We have Cable. I think I go ahead and play them just for some early game pressure. We don't have Collector in our hand, but I don't think we wait to utilize it until we get it either. And so the card with the highest power gets +3. I think we now we'll drop it there. We just kind of play as normal, hope we don't draw into anything impactful until we drop our Mr. Negative. And so let's see. So far so good. It's looking like we have our really, really strong cards in our deck, but these 2 are going to be really hard to play. I don't think we'll be able to play them at any point. So it's going to be hard to use a Moon Girl to really, duplicate like the Iron Man, duplicate the Taskmaster. I'm going to go ahead and snap because I think they are a computer, and I don't think they're going to be able to win. I think this hand would have a good chance against a real player, and I wish I had a chance to try it out here, but what are they doing? If we draw a Killmonger, we destroy their entire deck. So what did I play last? I have to remember that when I have Mr. Negative to hold on to Devil Dinosaur, because that's where it's going to be the most beneficial to use. So, do we do a Sentinel, or do we do Jessica Jones and Taskmaster? So that would duplicate the 8. Such silly possibilities with this deck. Yes, it has a very unique initiation condition, but when it works, it's so fun. Killmonger? Can we get Killmonger here? That would just kind of top this. I can't. I can't. What are the chances of that? Actually, 25%. That's the chances of that. So now the question becomes, where do we drop this? Does it matter where we drop this? So actually, we know that they are going to drop whatever they're going to drop here. I think we drop our cards there. Let's drop them in just a little bit different order. Let's drop the Sentinel first, and then followed by the Killmonger. I wish I could triple snap. This is our game. This is us. This is this deck working almost as optimally as it can. Of course, we have an Iron Man still in deck. We have a Jubilee still in deck, but this is the pinnacle. Oh, so did they DC? Was it a human player the whole time? There's no way. I mean, maybe they were playing a swarm deck, a wide deck, but we can watch this beauty in action. It destroys only one of our cards. It destroys their entire board. Oh man, I wish they had. I wish it had been kind of close all the way up until that, because that was phenomenal. If that destroys an entire archetype, an entire type of deck, gone by holding Killmonger. So as more people unlock it, it's going to be a lot riskier to run cards like Sunspot, run cards like the wide deck. So the Khazar deck that we ran, even our Strong Guy discard deck becomes really, really dangerous to use. In our opening hand, we have Agent 13, we have Devil Dinosaur, we have Mr. Negative, we have Sentinel. I think we play that into the big house. We'll probably play our Devil Dinosaur there as well. Ooh, we generate a Red Skull, which is pretty big. But we draw into an Iron Man. So if there's a location where it's you can only play one card here, Red Skull is a decent choice. Because it beats most 6-cost cards. The only one that I really know that it beats off the top of my head would be Infinite, but even that is. So here we have 7 cards. I think we need to drop our Devil Dinosaur. I would have. So I would have liked to hold the Devil Dinosaur until we have our Taskmaster, but that's could be a really cool use. We could drop Red Skull and Taskmaster to get 2 14 power cards. The downside of Red Skull is that ongoing, the enemies at that location have +2 power, which is not the end of the world. It's not game breaking. Even so, it gives them +8 if it's a full lane, but if it's a small or a lowly populated lane, then it's really doesn't outweigh the benefits. Oh, and we got no way did that just happen. That makes it really tough to win this lane. Really, really difficult. So do I abandon it and move them out? And how does the Mr. Negative interaction work with it? So would an Iron Man be able to be played there at 0 cost? I almost feel like I abandon this lane and just move him over here. But if we get a Nova... yeah, we move him. I think there's too much potential downside, and they may anticipate that and move one of their own, but they don't. Okay. So we move one because it's going to be really hard to win this lane. And so we can focus on winning these other two. So the Taskmaster. So this is the perfect chance to test this out. So we have the 0 cost Taskmaster. Are we able to play it? We don't want to play it there this turn. No, we're not. So it still retains that 5 cost, like, I guess, archetype, even though it technically is only costing us 0. So do we want to do some cool interaction on turn 5? So in our deck we have... I always have to think about if it's worth using Jubilee. So in our deck we have Cable, we have Nova, we have Killmonger. I think that's enough for me to know it's not worth it. So I think we drop Iron Man in this lane because we don't want to drop Red Skull just yet, because we don't want him to know for sure what all we have. So I think we drop Iron Man for now. We go ahead and snap. Hopefully he stays to the end. So he has Vision, which can be moved to any lane. That adds some uncertainty, but I think we're going to win heavily enough that it's not going to matter. Oh. But we only draw... Okay. So what kind of deck are they running? Because we only drew... Oh boy. We only drew the Collector. So in our deck we have 3 cards, one being Iron Man, one being Killmonger. Is it worth it to drop Red Skull here? I think so, because it duplicates it. It is 28 power because of Iron Man. So I think it does. I don't know why I was really questioning that. Unless they have something that is going to destroy our Devil Dinosaur here, I think we win. Yeah. Do we do it? Do we do it? Yeah, we'll do it. I'm confident. I'm not. I'm a little nervous, but let's do it. So the middle lane is going to get plus 14. Our Devil Dinosaur is going to reduce some, but that is okay. He did move Vision over to the left for some reason. What is he hoping to pull from Jubilee? He gets the Hulk, which is okay, but it's not going to be enough. We double it with Iron Man. Our Taskmaster duplicates the 14. It's such a strong turn 6. I love this deck. I don't know that it would be as consistent as like a normal collector deck, but I feel like it might be more. So we started, we did drop one 8-cube game, but otherwise I don't think we lost. So that's going to be the last game. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. This deck has been such a surprise. So I'm so glad that I initially built an Omega Red deck and it didn't work. Had it even worked, moderately well, I may have went ahead and just made a video, said, this card is average. But since I went back to the drawing board, we were able to make a Killmonger deck work. We had a couple of games where Killmonger swung it. We had a couple of games where Mr. Negative was the reason we won. Such a fun deck to play. And it's really hard to know because I haven't seen anybody run a Mr. Negative. So it's hard for them to know what I'm capable of, what we're able to do. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, make sure to leave a like, a comment down below. I will see you guys later.